Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. Come out and find me on Twitter at Clinton Bond. I've got the crew with us today. I've got the Princedonia parlays down there, Mr. Wilson Khan. Find him out on Twitter, Wilson_Khan, 2 N's in Khan. And we got the moneyline rainmaker from Montana himself, Adam. You could tell he's Uncle Traveling Sam once again. The man's in his car. Adam, we got an audible Omaha a little bit this one. Dude, tell us what's going on. You're a man on the street, live in the action. What's going on just outside those windows, man?
Yeah, man. So I'm on Highway 97 in Eastern Oregon, south of Bend, and stuck in the atmospheric river. Don't get stuck in one of those. It stinks. It is snowing buckets. We're doing 20 miles an hour down the road in a 65, and it's sketchy as hell. So I'm just going to give you guys my quick picks real quick here. Try to keep going down the road and get to somewhere that I can stay in a hotel instead of living in my car, because I'd like to avoid that. Mm-hmm. But Clinton, hats off to you on your legitimate win this week. You are an official champion. It dethrones the fake champion from last week in Wilson, and that that gave me a lot of satisfaction. I enjoyed that. But I looked at this game here, guys, and I'll let you guys discuss when I hop off here. But if I weren't doing this for this show, this would be a massive stay away for me. This entire game, it's just way too unpredictable. These are two massively unpredictable teams. And so my bets are very bland, and I don't really know what way to go. This is maybe one of the hardest games to pick bets for. So first bet, Geno over 241.5 passing yards, and that's plus 100. Geno's the strength of the team. If they're going to do anything worth a crap this week, it's going to be on Geno's arm. So 241.5 passing yards or more, or I guess 242 or more. Mm-hmm. Then Seahawks total team points over 20.5, and that's plus 100. So basically, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to score more than 20 points. And with Mike White in the game, the Jets are going to be able to move the ball a little bit, and they're going to put up points. So I'm counting on the Seahawks to get, again, their customary 24 to 27 points that we did not get last week, which really screwed me. My third down bet, I've got an alternate spread here, and I'm taking the Seahawks minus 2.5 at plus 120. So basically, Hawks win by 3 or more, I'm good to go. And I'm not totally confident about that, but I'm very hopeful they're going to win this game. I want them to win this game. I'm rooting for them to win this game. And so this allows me to bet and root all the all together and have it all be
all the feels, all the bets. Gotcha.
All the feels.
We got 3 pluses so far: plus 100, plus 100, plus 120. As far as I'm tracking, Fail Mary's got to be plus 1,200 or greater. Our dollar scratcher. Yes. Adam, what do you got?
Seahawks to win by 19 to 24 points, plus 1,700.
Well, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly bear, right? Might as well.
That's exactly right. I want them to win. So I might as well bet on them winning.
Yeah. So Adam is stuck in a storm. We want to make sure that he doesn't, get frozen in his car overnight. Although we know Adam is a survivalist and he'd be just fine. However, he'll be just finer if he gets to a bed and does not have to sleep in his car. So Adam, we will let you go. We'll recap later. We will catch you later. Appreciate you, understanding that my crown is legitimate and that I plan to defend it.
Yes.
You go get safe and we'll talk later, my man.
Enjoy your victory lap, dude. And hey, Wilson, how does it feel to be dethroned from your fake title?
Well, I would say that Clinton's title was pretty fake. I'm sure we'll get into that. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good.
We shall.
All right.
We shall. All right.
Well, if yours was fake last week and Clinton's fakes this week, then I guess it just by default goes to me. So I'm champion again. And with that, I bid you all adieu.
All right, bud. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, Wilson. So why don't we take a peek at my fake empire here, as you're describing it, as I hearken a little bit of the National, pretty fun band, in fact, with the National. But let's see. I always got to remember that we share screen here. We do this here. We hit the whammy here, and away we go. I'll enlarge it so we can see it, and I'll minimize so we can see the crown right there. Okay, so yes. Oh, now it wasn't a blazing week for any of us. Let's be fair about that. However, I've been pretty consistent with getting about usually getting 2 out of my 3 regular bets to hit. So again, to remind folks, bet 1, bet 2, bet 3 are $10 bets. Bet whatever the heck you want to bet. Bet 4 is the Fail Mary. Got to place $1, and it's got to be at least 1,200 or longer odds on that Sunday scratcher. None of us hit our Fail Marys. You guys had some struggles throughout. The one that saved me, McKinnon, for the 5th game in a row, 5 games in a row, caught a receiving touchdown out of the backfield. Did you know, Wilson, if he catches one this week, he will hold the NFL record for consecutive weeks of a running back catching a touchdown.
That's crazy. Who are the Chiefs playing this week? Do you know?
Yes, I do. I do know. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Let's ride.
Oh boy. Well, they got a pretty good defense, but they really gave up last week to get Hackett fired. So we'll see.
I think, we'll see if they come back and play a little bit for the interim coach, or if they're just like sayonara. Like, we did all we possibly could to keep to keep hope alive, and unfortunately Russ goes out there and throws 3 interceptions in the first half. I think it was ugly. It has turned fully ugly in Denver, it looks like. So yeah. And of course, go Chiefs, go Chiefs, go Chiefs this week. So hopefully McKinnon does get that 6, but we won't be, I won't be wagering on McKinnon this week as I did last week, but I was happy to cash that. By the way, Geno, do you know how many yards rushing Geno got in the game?
I'm going to go with 16.
That's exactly right. It's amazing to me how friggin' accurate Las Vegas could be with these odds. He got 16, and he really didn't scramble much throughout the game. In fact, that one play earlier in the game, which we talked about on 3 in 3 out, where he doesn't take the obvious first down that he probably had 10 or 15 yards right there. You're like, dude, you're texting like, yeah, there goes your rushing prop. And I felt the same. I was like, man, if he's not taking those, when will he run? Lo and behold, 4th quarter, pretty much garbage time, moving the chains with his legs. I hope he does more of that this week, and just moves the chains with his legs earlier when it matters more. But I'll take the win. A win is a win. Hey, funny enough, the 2 stars next to you and Adam's name come with a familiar face. So anything you want to say about just the smash spot that was the Kelsey picks?
Well, it's funny because he really was. I mean, it was a quiet 113 yards, as quiet as 113 yards can be. I looked up in the 4th quarter and they were like, well, Kelsey has 113 yards. I was like, what? I did not think I hit my bet. Like, I could barely remember him making a reception. It turns out he had 6 for 113. So Adam, a little bit sketchy with the receptions there, and he really had to pay a lot for that. But yeah, I mean, the receiving yards was fairly obvious to me. All it took was that one drive where he just had 2 back-to-back, 30-yarders, and
yep,
it was pretty much over.
That was the game, and that was the bets. Yeah, that cemented all the bets, and that was, it's the Seahawks defense right now. The actually defense played. It's one of those games where it's like defense played pretty well until the levee breaks and Mahomes does Mahomes things and Kelsey does Kelsey things, and you're not going to hold them down forever is what it boils down to. I think as Seahawks fans, we all felt that drive coming at some point, and when we couldn't get out of our own way, and it was still 17-3, 17-3, 17-3. Yeah, at some point we kind of knew it was coming. It happened. I'm happy you hit your bet. And for the record, Adam was in last place by the money this week. So not just the crown. I love it. Also seeing Adam at the bottom, I kind of love it. So let's keep the good times rolling this week. But we do turn a page now. We have to look at what's going to happen this week. So we got Adam's bets. Any gut feelings? We were texting my take on your gut feeling. So my gut on your gut is that I don't think you think we're winning either of these last 2 games. Have you changed your tune since we were last texting about that? Or are you still feeling like this is a rough road for our Seahawks?
I think we could lose both of the last 2 games, but I think I've changed my mind a little bit in that the Seahawks will win this game and then just lose against the Rams, which will honestly be even worse.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. That's the worst of the worst, right? That's the worst scenario. Going 0-2. That's okay. I mean, it actually could be very over if we lose, the Commanders win, and there's another way too. We're out. Then it's just like, okay, whatever. Then just don't worry about week 18. Who cares? Just get the better draft pick.
Yeah, that's all that needs to happen. I think we lose, Commanders win, and it's toast. So
sayonara. Yep.
yeah. But with that being said, I do have I think the Seahawks will win this game.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You've changed your tune a bit. I'm definitely very on the fence whether or not we win this one or not. I just don't put any stock into home field advantage right now. We haven't had it for a couple of years. The good news is the Jets don't run the ball very effectively, but so didn't the Buccaneers until they crushed us with Rashad White, right? So we shall see if Bam Knight equals Rashad White. We'll get into all those predictions. And before we do that, I did want to point out this lovely graphic behind me was saying as you were joining the stream. So one of our buddies in the Discord, he goes by Boye's Biceps. If you watch 3 in 3 Outs or listen to it, we get to the from the flock section. Boye's Biceps is always chiming in, and on the Discord, he put up a couple of AI creations. So this freaking, I'll just get away from the mic real quick, but I mean, look at the detail of this thing created by AI, where he just types into AI and I think his instructions were create the meanest looking Seattle Seahawk. And this is one of 4 renditions he came up with in like a half a second. I mean, look at this thing. That's
pretty mean. Look at that beak.
Yeah. The whole thing
I'm
is
messing with that.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. The detail is gnarly. So if you want to check it out and you're listening to this on audio, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast, you should be heading out there, hit the subscribe, hit the like. It does help out the podcast so we could grow. And we don't only want to grow subscribership and the Hawk grow. Those are good things. We also want to grow your wallets. We just spent some money in the Christmas season. We might be going out for New Year's and things. You're a young person, Wilson. You might have New Year's Eve plans yet. I'm not so young, so New Year's Eve doesn't really excite me as it did in my 20s, but that's okay. However, I did lay down some credit cards over the Christmas holiday, and I want to make some money back. So I'm going to go first because I have honors. Wilson, do you know who Seattle's really bad against defending?
Everyone.
Yes.
running backs the most.
Tight ends, man. Tight ends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could have been anyone.
It could have been. We are terrible. We're actually pretty good against typically against wide receivers. We've done pretty well this year. We are not just bad. We are the worst team in the league defending tight ends from a fantasy football perspective, which means they're getting the most yardage, most touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So I want to start off. If we're going to have a tough game against these Jets, then I want to make some money in this game. So I got Tyler Conklin, the Jets tight end, over 26.5 yards receiving. Got to pay $115 to get it. Yes, they kind of have a 2 tight end system with I think it's a CJ Uzama. However, Conklin's kind of their Fant to their Disley, if you will. We know Disley's hurt, but if you're carrying the analogy forward, 26.5 yards doesn't seem like a lot, minus 115. So Vegas is pretty much saying that they think he should get that. We do not cover tight ends. I can see it in my brain. Brooks getting all scrambled, or Barton getting scrambled, and Conklin going down the seam for 30. And I don't want to cash it, but I will. That's my first down play. Wilson, what do you think about betting against the fact that we don't cover tight ends? Well,
yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. I am only a little bit concerned just because, like you mentioned, the 2 tight end system, you could just get unlucky and get burned, and it might be a Uzama day instead of a Conklin day, but we'll see. My first down bet, pretty simple. Seahawks money line plus 110. We're not losing this freaking game. We just aren't. I saw promising things from the defense last week against an offense which by all metrics is the best in the NFL. So I know Mike White is a better option for the Jets than Zach Wilson. Just about anyone's the better option for the Jets than Zach Wilson. But I still think the Seahawks defense will be able to hold them in reasonable check. That means max low 20s. And I like our offense to get things done against the Jets defense, which is good, but it's not great. So I'm going to take the money line plus 110.
Okay. Vegas, obviously you're getting 110 for it. So Vegas feels the other way. I saw the line as of today, I saw it move to +2. So Seattle getting 2 at home. So Vegas sees the Jets as basically a 4 to 5 point favorite if they were, in their own home, or maybe not. Maybe Vegas is not really giving that many points to teams that are, out in Lumen right now, because we have not been a very good home field team.
No, we haven't.
Just the last 2 years or so now, it has not been a huge advantage. We have not played very well at home. I want that one desperately. If any bet hits, I can go 0 for 3, Wilson. I could go 0 for 4 for that matter. If I will sell my PNW soul, if that bet hits, I'm fine. That's because that's the money line. I hope it does. Can't say I would take it though. Not feeling too confident with it. However, I do hope it goes. All right. I do have a second down bet. This one gets me into the plus category. It's always interesting to me that if you take a first score field goal, you're getting paid money. And I know the numbers flesh out that most of the time it's a touchdown scored first and not a field goal. Hence you're getting paid money. I could just see, whatever, call it a hunch call, whatever you want to call it, first score field goal, no matter who scores it, plus 110. I have this vision that we defer, that Mike White dinks and dunks, and we stop them. In the red zone-ish area, and the Jets are start the game 3-0. I just think that's going to happen. I have no real good data or reasoning to say other than this one's a bit of a gut, but to get paid plus 110, we're not talking about amazing offenses. Seattle's offense been, it's above average for the year. It's been pretty bad of late, especially starting the game. Been pretty bad. The Jets are not an amazing offense. They're okay. So, it's not like we have two stalwarts. So we have two Star Wars going at each other here, Wilson. And to get paid a little bit of money for a first field goal, I think it's an okay bet. As Adam had said, I kind of struggled this week finding ones I really was enamored with. So this was a bit of an easy play one, and we'll see a plus 110. Bit of a coin flip though.
Yeah, I honestly, I looked at the first drive result field goal at plus 360. Didn't end up taking it, but kind of had similar thinking to you there. So maybe that's just both of us kind of grasping at straws in a week where we don't feel great. But I like to think that
it's the exact opposite. Exactly. Wilson.
Yeah, I like to think that it's great minds thinking alike, sort of.
Yes.
We do this every week, so think we got a little bit of sixth sense at this point.
We are the PNW Prop Stars, right? So
yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. Hey, this is the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse, Wilson. So, I mean, of all the ways it could happen, we're the only ones doing it. So I think we deserve a little bit of love for that. All right. So your second down bet, right? Go ahead.
Yes, my second down bet. Like I mentioned, I'm not super impressed with Mike White. I know Jets fans love him, thinking he's the second coming of Christ or whatever. Well, anything looks like that compared to Zach Wilson, like I said. And the line for his passing yards felt really high to me this week at 249.5. I like us to keep him under that. So that's at minus 115, paying a little bit, but I really don't see Mike White breaking 249.5. Like I mentioned, we played all right against the Chiefs last week on defense. Like, it really was a pretty solid performance.
Yep.
I know Mahomes didn't break 300 because that was one of my bets. So if Mahomes can't break 300, I don't think Mike White's breaking 250. I'll put it that way. So yeah.
I like this one. I think I do wonder if, to me, I watched the Kansas City game and I was like, it turns out 15 degrees is 15 degrees is 15 degrees. Like, it's cold. And like, oh, but it's not windy and there's sunshine. It's like, yeah, I get all that. And yet, Mahomes still missed throws. To your point though, our defense actually did play pretty well. Yes, we were down 4, what was that? 17-0 before we were sniffing anything, but that was a bit of a slow bleed to get to 17-0. And the second half, it wasn't like Kansas City was just going into a shell. We were just playing better. We played good football in the second half. We ran the ball better. We defended the run better. We got enough pressure on Mahomes to move him a bit, and he was a little inaccurate And I think the inaccuracy part was just because it was cold. With that, Mike White is, Patrick Mahomes, he is not. So I could get behind that one. I think I dig it. Hey, why don't we go into third down? Give it to you since I took the first two there. What is your third down bet, and why is it over plus 300?
Well, it is a Wilson 300 this week. I'm at plus 370.
Nice.
It's just a simple two-way parlay. Both Bam Knight and Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown. Pretty simple. I think K9 had a really great week in his return from injury last week. Still a couple of runs that really make you scratch your head.
Yeah.
Where he bounces it out, or he won't take the 1 yard loss and instead takes the 5 yard loss, and just like, what are we doing here? But he still rushed for over 100 yards. He looked really good in his return from injury, so I think he'll score this game. Bam Knight actually has been pretty bad recently. It's been a part of, just the symptoms of the Jets offense just being nothing with Zach Wilson in the game. I know this because Bam Knight's on my fantasy team, and I've consistently started him for whatever reason. With that being said, I think the Jets will be tempted to run the ball in this game, and I think I can see it happening. Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, as they call him, getting into the end zone. I don't feel great about it just because he hasn't been playing well. I think K9 is definitely going to score. I don't know about Bam Knight, but that's why it's plus 370, I guess. Not an amazing week for me in terms of searching for these Wilson 300s, but it's my rule. I got to go with it.
Yep,
So.
It is your rule, and it's been good to you too. It's like it's one thing to have a rule, it's one thing to have a rule. If your rule is I need to drink a 12-pack a night, that's probably a bad rule. It's probably a bad rule to have. That's not treating yourself kindly. But the Wilson 300 has been, kind of a cake and eat it too type scenario, right? So you've been able to take the big swings. It's paid off for you in multiple weeks, and you're sticking to it, which I could appreciate. If the Jets know what's good for them, they should run the ball more. They're not a great running football. With Breece Hall, they were better for sure.
Oh yeah.
He's a different type of talent. But they should run. Any team playing us should run until we stop them. And again, our run fits looked better last week versus KC in the second half. Even throughout the whole game was okay. But really the second half, it shined through quite a bit. With that, I just scratch my head as to like what Seahawks defense are we going to get? And I don't even mean that figuratively. I actually mean it kind of quite literally. Like, are we going to be in 3-4 with these big ass gaps that we just don't seem to fit for? Are we going to be out there in a 4-3? Are we going to bring, Bryant down to the box quite a bit to play box, basically a tantamount to box safety in the slot corner position? We play quite a number of ways, and I don't think we have an identity. I think it's just it's this identity fluid situation for our Seahawks, and I don't know which one we're going to get. I hope we get the one that's more effective, which I think is actually more like the traditional 4-3. Seems to fit the run better, seems to fit our personnel better, but we tend to just, I don't know, start games in different fashion. So we shall see. K9, I love him getting into the end zone. I hope that comes forth, man. K9's part of my third down bet as well. I took a parlay here. So the Jets have been really good against where you like White at his under. The Jets have been pretty darn good against opposing quarterbacks and keeping them under. They have a couple of cool stats out there about like not allowing deep balls and things like that too. So if you're not getting too many deep shots, which the Jets are very good at preventing, then your yards if you're not getting chunk plays, your yards ought to suffer. I got Geno at under 249.5, which is funny, same as White, but that's part of the parlay. So Geno under 249.5, but then K9 over 54.5 rushing yards. So little less on the Geno, more on the K9. That actually pays 145. So it's one of those things where when you're looking at building the parlay, that both sides of it were negatives, slightly, very slight negatives. And then when you put it together, yes, they both got a hit. That's the parlay, duh. But then you're at a point where you're paying 145. I'm like, okay, I think it's a pretty logical bet. If Geno smashes it, then good time, great oldies. I'm cool. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'll be probably be in a better state and helping you circle the money line winner. I'll be texting you about it. But at plus 145, I expect K9 to have a pretty good game here. What did you think about? There was some talk this week about K9 kind of taking it to heart, Kenneth Walker, that he wasn't hitting the hole hard enough in the first half, and that he actually made the adjustment. Did you see something different in the second half? Or do you think it was a bit more podium speak and there's more to be, you have to see it to believe it a bit more, versus him doing a little more, too much dancing back there still potentially?
Yeah, there's still a little bit too much dancing for my liking. I think a lot of it was just how the running game goes over the course of the game, where you stick with it. Eventually it'll just start wearing down the defense and you'll hit a few of those runs. I'd like to see him hit the hole more. And I think if he's over 54.5, that'll probably be the case. So,
okay. Then if you had to, so if you were the coach, would you, no, it's about the running game. It's why I ask. If you're Carroll or Waldron, would you at this point in the season, champion to keep platooning Gabe Jackson and Beefy Boy Haynes, or would you give one of them the chance to be the right guard and say, well, that's it. We've seen enough of this platooning.
I've seen enough of the platooning. I've been seeing some of those all 22 clips from the Chiefs game, and they just look brutal, especially Haynes. I don't know. I guess I'd throw it to Jackson at this point. There's only 2 games left. I don't want to see either of them back next year, to be honest. I think if we're going to be a running team, if we're going to be any kind of team, we need better guard play than that. Yeah, I'd probably stick with Jackson. But yeah, I don't want to see the platooning. There's a reason you don't really platoon offensive linemen too much. And, it's the same reason you don't platoon your quarterback. You have to keep players in the game and get them in a rhythm. So if Gabe Jackson needs, a little bit more time to get in a rhythm, he could certainly benefit from that, as opposed to Haynes taking every other snap from him or whatever.
Yeah, and I've been a Beefy Boy defender, a Haynes defender for a couple of years now, actually, on the podcast. And with that, I can't, I don't think I have an argument versus it. If I had to choose one, I would choose Haynes. However, I would choose one of them over the platooning. So for me, even if it was like, hey, let Jackson be the dude, I think we'd get better results than the platooning, which is giving us poor results. And it's just to me, it's like after 15 games, 16 weeks, that this is still what we're doing. It's just odd to me. It will be interesting to see if Abe Lucas can make it back or not. I don't think he practiced yesterday. I'm pretty sure he was DNP yesterday. Did not check today. Now it's Friday. So if he didn't practice on Thursday, that usually portends to not playing. We shall see. Which means, if any of these Walker things are going to hit, Walker touchdowns or Walker overs, we might be cheering on big number 78, Stone Forsythe, quite a bit this week.
He looked all right against the Chiefs.
He did. He actually, it's a kind of a credit where due thing is, right? Like he didn't seem to be the problem. Let's put it that way, right? So I think Lewis, while he wasn't perfect, was okay. I thought Cross was pretty good. Lucas he got beat a bit.
He got tossed by
Karlaftis
a couple times.
Yes, he did. And that's a dude that we had we Seahawks fans had our sights on. We ended up going with Mafe, who I think is actually playing pretty good run D, but Karlaftis is I think he racked up his 4.5 or 5th sack in the game, something like that as well.
Yeah.
Which for a rookie DE, not everyone's Micah Parsons. If you're getting 4.5, 5, 6 sacks as a rookie, that's usually a pretty good trajectory. Whereas like Mafe still stuck at, I want to say 2.
Yeah. I haven't seen him much in the defensive backfield on the passing game. Like you mentioned, though, he has been good in the running game. So.
Yep. And he's supposed to get more snaps. So that'll be interesting to watch as well. And it certainly could affect some of these overs and unders as we're looking at it. But Clint Hurt did say that Mafe's played well and we'll get more snaps. So, which is cool. All right. So remembering that Adam took a very bold Fail Mary here. Remember, it's only $1 scratcher, folks. So if you can't be bold with your Fail Mary, then what are you? But Adam has a band of Seattle winning by 19-24. So it's not only is it a blowout, but it's a banded blowout at plus 2,400. Wilson, what are you doing on your Fail Mary?
Well, it's an expansion on my third down bet, just like I did last week. So sticking with both K9 and Knight anytime touchdown, and then adding to this their rushing props. What I know about Bam Knight, he's not getting a ton of yardage in recent weeks, at least in their last 2 games. So I'm going to stick with him under 74.5, and then I'm going to take K9 over 84.5, and that gets me right to plus 1,200.
Nice, I like it. Okay, so we got so we got Knights. Bam under that was 74.5, right? For Bam.
Yes.
And K9 was over 84.5.
Yes.
Okay. Over 84.5 and under 74.5. Okay, cool. I dig it. And I always love getting right to plus 1,200, kind of fun. So, but a cool bet. So instead of recapping all that later, we'll just say it again now. So K9 and Bam Knight to score touchdowns. Bam Knight under 74.5 yards rushing, K9 over 84.5 yards rushing. Hey, stranger things have happened. I don't see that being with that not in the realm of possibilities. Plus, Michael Carter's going to get his touches. The Jets are going to give Carter, more. Carter will get more percentage chances than like DJ Dallas or Homer will get. So right. That will be more likely to be 65-35, legit 60-40, whereas K9 should be the bell cow, as they say. So cool. I dig it. All right. So my Fail Mary is this. You're going to like this, Wilson. I can guarantee.
Okay.
Because it jumps off of your most famous Fail Mary. Your most famous Fail Mary
Parkinson.
Was Parkinson, right? So that was a anytime touchdown, which I think was whatever was the first touchdown of the game, or anytime?
Anytime plus 1,600.
Anytime. Okay. So I'm going big dog style here. This is Colby Parkinson, not to score once, but to score twice.
Oh,
plus 3,500.
Oh, wow.
We don't have Uncle Will. So, Uncle Will's out for the year. Fant has been dinged all week. He was on, he looks like he's going to play. He's, trending towards playing, but he was on and off the injury report all week. Lockett, he may play, but he might be might be a bit more of a decoy. I realize it's not his legs or his knees or anything like that, but he's just a week removed from hand surgery. He may play. Hopefully he does. So target's got to go somewhere. Last game, Parkinson had a better game. Parkinson had, I think, 3 or 4 receptions, couple downfield. Hey, it's a Fail Mary, but at plus 3,500, if I could take $1 and turn it to $35, I'll give it a scratch on that one.
I love it. I'm a big Parkinson fan ever since week 1 this season. It's funny, if you go back to the episode for that game, I think I remember just being like, yeah, Parkinson's a bum. Like, I don't know why we drafted him.
Yeah.
I might as well put down $1 on this. And I've been a huge fan ever since. And I would love to see this one hit. This actually might be the most satisfying Fail Mary all season. If Parkinson scores twice, I think Adams' Fail Mary might hit. If Parkinson's out there getting 2 touchdowns,
that's true.
We might be running away with this.
Yeah, this might be a domino effect of goodness. Let's put it this way: if my Fail Mary hits, then Adams might hit, and if that hits, well, then you won your money line. And at the end of the day, that's all that freaking really matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what we want. So I could see that you are still in your home in San Francisco. How much longer are you staying there before you head back east?
I got a few more weeks. I got a nice long break. So just enjoying spending time with family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any New Year's Eve plans? Again, I think you're 20 still, right? So what does a 20-year-old do in Northern California come New Year's, which is tomorrow?
Well, of course, for all the cops listening, there's no alcohol involved, but I think me and a few of my buddies are just going to get together and enjoy the college football playoff semifinals.
Nice.
And then just hang out after that. So it should be a good night.
Very cool. And speaking of college football, we got the 2 semis coming up. Do you have 2 questions back to back? Do you have do you have like a gut, and do you have a team you're cheering for, and are they the same? So kind of a 2.5.
My gut is, I think Georgia is going to have a pretty easy time in their game. And my gut is Michigan might be in trouble against TCU. With that being said, I actually am rooting for Michigan. One of my friends goes to Michigan, so I'll be watching the game with him and rooting for them. And yeah, so I'm a little bit nervous about the Michigan game, but I think they'll get the job done, and I'll be cheering for them.
Gotcha. So you're thinking the Horned Frogs of TCU might have a chance, but I'm assuming this is the same buddy when you took your road trip across the country earlier.
Yeah.
That when you had a pissed off Michigan, that this is the dude.
Yeah, it is.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
very cool.
Very exciting.
Good. I was hanging out in a shed with which is I guess a sentence. I was hanging out in a shed with a buddy of mine. He's got a separated shed with a wood stove and a plasma screen. He's got the whole kind of a man shed set up out there.
Nice.
Quite fun. So we hang out a lot in the wintertime. And we were watching a recent Michigan game. And I found out that the tight end, I think it's like Schoonmaker or something like that. He's a big, 6 foot something, like 6'5" tight end on Michigan. I think it's Schoonmaker, whatever it is. But one of the dudes I was sitting with in the shed, like he had worked with the dad for quite a while and something in Connecticut. So he's got some ties back to the area. So for those reasons, I guess I'll cheer on blue with your boy as well. Plus the dude's a really good tight end. Like he's the type that, playing in Michigan, he's kind of like an Uncle Will type. He's catches some touchdowns, blocks a lot. He seems good. He seems NFL bound is what I get from that guy. So that'd be kind of neat to see him playing. Yeah, I think Georgia rolls. I think we're going to get the obvious. I think we're going to get Georgia versus Michigan, and we'll get that 1-2, and we'll see what happens.
I think that would be a really good game.
I think I agree. I'm very excited for the 12 team playoff come next year. I tend to not love college football because there's so little defense played. In my opinion, it's like just the defense is not very good. With that, when you get down to teams like Georgia, they could play defense. It doesn't matter who they're going. I remember last year being like, who'd they end up playing last year? Was it Clemson in the finals or Alabama? Who'd they play?
I think it was Bama.
And their defense was just fire the entire game. I was like, wow, they are throwing these dudes around. So I could respect Georgia. I could respect their game. And hey, we'll close it with this. Go Chiefs. There's so many permutations that could happen with our draft picks, but the biggest one being go Chiefs, go Chargers, and go Bears. If the Bears can win, because they're playing, I forget who they're playing, but Fields will be playing. If the Bears can squeak out a win or two, a win these last couple of weeks, and the Broncos could do what they should do, I want that number 2 pick so badly for the Seahawks fans that are out there. Watch number 88 on Georgia.
I was just going to say that ties in perfectly to the college football playoff discussion.
Gosh. Like if you're listening to this and you're not a college football fan, I get it. All good. Do yourself a favor, watch the Georgia game and just watch the middle of the field, watch number 88 Carter, and just understand why getting the 2 seed, the 2 pick, assuming the Texans would take a quarterback, but
I'm sure they would.
Why? Yeah, you think, but why getting the 2 would be so crucial. So that'll be a lot of fun, dude. All right, man. I think we should close it out, my man. Have fun. Have a great new year. And, for our Seahawks, hopefully we close the season out the right way and we make some people some money and enjoy the rest of your time back in San Fran.
Appreciate it, Clinton. See you next year for the next episode.
How witty, my man. How witty. All right, go Hawks, dude.
Go Hawks.
See ya.